Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here from Spain Speaks, and it's that time of year again when I talk about some of the pros and cons of living in Spain in 2023. So let's go. Now I'm on the outskirts of Madrid. I'm in a small town about 30 kilometers away from the center of the city, a place called Perales de Tajuña. Around 30, I'm going to say 30. It could be a little bit more, it could be a little bit less, but on the outskirts of the big city, which is Madrid, in the Madrid community, of course. And as I said, looking at some of the pros and cons of living in Spain in 2023. Now, I haven't done a video like this for about a year, so we'll see if some things have changed or not. So let's get stuck in. Now, in the last video I did on this topic, the pros and cons of living in Spain, I talked about some of the main topics that will affect your life in this country, some of the good things, some of the bad things, of course. I spoke about housing, the economy, life in Spanish cities, having pets here in Spain, politics here in Spain, and the cost of living, among other things. Now, I'm going to talk about some of those things today because they are relevant in 2023. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is housing. Is it a pro or is it a con when it comes to living in Spain or moving to Spain in 2023? Well, the bad news is that housing in some parts of the country, there's a housing crisis. It is very expensive to rent a flat in the big cities here in Spain. For example, Madrid, Barcelona, Valencia, Malaga, very, very expensive to rent. And also buying a house nowadays is also impossible for a lot of people. Unless you've got a lot of money, very difficult to buy a house here in Spain. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, I'm coming from another country, I've been working for a long time, I'm retired, I've got money saved, so I shouldn't have a problem buying property. Well, that's lucky, because for the rest of us, we have to get a mortgage, and mortgage rates at the moment are very, very high. And that is why housing can be considered a con in Spain, because it's difficult to get and it's also expensive. So con number one. Now, point number two, and I can't remember if it was a pro or a con in last year's video, but I'm going to speak about the economy. And the good news is that over the last couple of years, Spain's economy has been growing. As we know, it took a hit back in 2020 because of COVID, a severe hit, but it's been growing ever since, partly, of course, thanks to European funds. Lots of European money has come into the economy. There's lots of transition plans going on, resilience plans, and they're trying to transform the Spanish economy, and lots of money about. However, the Spanish economy still does suffer from the same problems that I spoke about a couple of years ago. And I'll talk about some of those in just a moment. You see, one of the big problems with the Spanish economy is that it suffers from a lot of structural issues. Job creation is a problem here. The job market is fairly buoyant at the moment. Unemployment is down to around 12%, which is quite good for Spain. You might be laughing at that figure, 12%, because in your country maybe unemployment is 5-6%, but here in Spain 12 is considered a good figure, and that's one of the issues with the economy. Jobs are created, but they are also destroyed very, very quickly. So the economy goes up, the economy goes down, and that's when a lot of people, unfortunately, lose their jobs. So the economy in Spain at the moment, not bad, but you never know when another recession or crisis is just around the corner, unfortunately. Now, another thing I spoke about in the last video, and I'll touch on it again in this video, is pets here in Spain, how pets are treated. If you like pets, if you like dogs, you like cats, other types of pets, what's it like to have a pet in Spain? And there have been some big changes over the last year as far as pets are concerned. In general, Spain is a pet-friendly country, and as the years go by, Spain becomes a more and more pet-friendly country. But as I said, big changes have come into play over the last year or so, and it is because of a new government law that was passed earlier this year, 2023, when it comes to domestic animals, and people that own dogs and other domestic animals will be affected by this change. And basically it means, for dog owners at least, that everybody that has a dog in this country, unless you are a hunter, but everyone else that has a dog sitting around at home will have to have obligatory insurance. So that's a big, important change from last year as far as pets are concerned. But the good news is that more and more businesses are now more pet friendly, and this law also makes businesses more pet friendly. You can take your dog into a lot of businesses nowadays, into coffee shops and things like that. Also in some department stores you are allowed to take your dog, so that is good news for dog owners in general, or pet owners here in Spain, in my opinion. So a big pro. Now, time to talk about politics, which can be a pro or a con depending on which side of the political fence you sit. The good news is, as far as extremism is concerned, it seems to have calmed down after the last general elections. Last year I spoke about the rise of far-right political parties. There's always been far-left political parties, but in recent years there has been a rise of far-right political parties. One political party in particular called Vox, but the good news for people that don't like that type of extreme politics is that Vox was smashed at the last general elections. The Spanish have seen common sense. They haven't followed other European countries like Italy or Poland down that far-right track, and things are a lot calmer at the moment as far as politics is concerned. So things are looking good politically, in my opinion. Now, another thing that I normally talk about in these pro and cons videos that I've done over the years about living here in Spain is the language aspect. I've always said that it's fundamental to learn the local language before you come and live here in Spain. And remember that there are different languages around the country. Castilian Spanish is the main language, but you've got Catalonian, you've got Basque, you've got Galician languages as well. So there are different languages. So check that out and learn the language depending on where you are going to live. But remember that with Castilian Spanish, you'll be able to get by on a day-to-day basis. And remember that if you do learn the local language, you'll be able to assimilate into Spanish culture a lot faster. You'll be able to hit the ground running and enjoy everything that this country has to offer a whole lot sooner. And let's be honest, it has never been easier to learn a language than it is nowadays, not like it was back in my day learning Spanish. Anyway, I want to tell you guys about a great way to learn a new language, and it's an online language school called Lingoda. Yes, that's right, an online learning school with real experienced teachers where you can learn a new language or brush up on your existing skills from anywhere, anytime, which is great for people looking for flexibility. Classes are 60 minutes long, and one thing that stands out about Lingoda is that it's great for social learners, that is, people that want to learn with other people, for example, in a group with other people with the same objectives when it comes to learning Spanish, groups of up to 5 people. And it's also great for people that want to learn individually, one-to-one classes. Lingoda offers both styles. Lingoda also has classes to fit different levels. For example, in Spanish, they start at level A1, beginner level, and they go all the way up to level B2, which is upper intermediate in the old terminology. So try Lingoda for yourself. They have a 7-day trial where you can take 3 small group classes for free. Yes, that's right, totalmente gratis. All you have to do is click the link below to find out more, and you'll get a 25% discount on your first 2 months should you decide to continue. So what are you waiting for? Click the link below and start learning a language online, Spanish online, with Lingoda. Now back to the video. Now, another thing I'll talk about, which can be a pro or a con also, is the cost of living. Now, if you come from another European country, you will probably find the cost of living here in Spain a lot cheaper than what you are used to. And if you come from a country like Australia, no doubt you will find Spain a cheap country. However, when you get into the local economy, somebody like me who is working here in Spain in the local economy, the cost of living can be a bit of a con, because in recent years, especially with the high inflation, the cost of living has gone up, up, up. I mentioned the price of renting accommodation here in Spain, very expensive at the moment, especially in the big cities, and general cost of living has increased over the last year or so. It's more expensive to do everything nowadays, but that's not unique to Spain. I understand that it happens in other other parts of the world as well. But here in Spain, the local economy, people in the local economy are suffering at the moment, especially when it comes to certain products. For example, olive oil. Olive oil is at a price now that has never been seen before. And also other things. It's more expensive to take a holiday. It's more expensive to go out and have a bite to eat. It's more expensive to do everything now in Spain. So if you're in the local economy, the cost of living crisis could be an issue and a con, and it is for me. Now, another thing I'll talk about now is the weather, and you would think that the weather is only going to be a pro here in Spain, and for a lot of people it is, because if you come from a northern European country, the weather here is going to be fantastic for you. Sunny days, mild temperatures, especially if you're living in one of those coastal areas. Valencia, Malaga, Alicante, you will find mild winter temperatures. However, the summers are getting hotter. In fact, in the 25 years that I have been living here, the last few summers have been some of the hottest summers on record, and you really notice that hot weather. Even this summer, the 2023 summer, there has been heat wave after heat wave after heat wave. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, Spain's a hot country, it's always been a hot country, but as I said a minute ago, I haven't seen hot weather like the last few summers before, especially nighttime temperatures. The nighttime temperatures in the last few summers have been unbearable, and lots of people have got in contact with me through the comment section saying that they want to look for cooler places to spend their summers. They've moved to Spain, they've moved to a hot part of the country, but the summers are too much. So keep that in mind. And not only are the summer hotters, but there are also more extreme weather phenomenons happening on a more regular basis. A phenomenon that is known as DANA here in Spain, D-A-N-A, wreaking havoc around the country. When these DANA hits, there was one recently, in fact a couple of days ago, people ended up dying in this storm because very heavy rainfall, and basically you don't know where these heavy storms are going to fall. You get very hot temperatures, and then all of a sudden the weather changes and one of these DANAs hits and you get rainfall like you've never seen before. Now, for me, undoubtedly one of the biggest pros of this country is the security aspect. Spain is a very safe country. Yes, there is crime. There's crime everywhere, especially in big cities. Big cities are known for higher crime rates than smaller towns, of course, because there's more people. Criminals have the sense of anonymity, which is most likely why they commit crimes in cities. And Spain's crime rate comparatively low, especially compared to some other countries around the world, some other Spanish-speaking countries. And if you speak to people that have come from Latin American countries, they are amazed at how safe this country is. You can walk the streets at virtually any time of the day, day or night. People don't get in your face the majority of times. They let you live your life. They let you do your thing. You might be the victim of pickpocketing. That's fairly common in the big cities here in Spain, but as far as other crimes go, not very common, and that is a definite pro. There's no gun culture here. Guns very rare. Some people have guns, of course, but not like some other countries where there seem to be a lot of mass shootings. That doesn't happen here, fortunately. And the final thing I'm going to talk about today can be a pro or a con, depending on how you look at it, and it is noise and crowds. Now, I'm going to say that for me, Spain is a noisy country. It's a very crowded country. It's difficult to find space on your own here. Spanish people love to party and they love to make noise. And if you're in a town when the local fiestas are on, it's going to be a very noisy and crowded time indeed. And as I said, I particularly don't like that, but some people do. I understand that some people like crowds, some people like noise, and some people really like to get into the spirit of things here in Spain. And even a small town like this one that has a small population, if you're on the main strip here with buses going up and down every couple of minutes or so, people talking and just general street noise, you will notice that Spanish cities and Spanish towns can be noisy places. So a bit of a con for me, but some people might like that, so it could be a pro for you. On that note, I'm going to wrap the video up. Questions and comments, please leave them in the section below. Debate the video out as you normally do. If you have an opinion on any of the things that I have spoken about today, if you agree or disagree with some of the things that I have mentioned, the comment section is the place for you. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. I'll see you in the next one. Hasta luego from Spain.